Welcome to the show.
This is The Adults Are Talking, and today we're talking about tattoos.
Ooh, are they taboo, those tattoos?
Taboo tattoos, are they? We're talking about should we as Jews and Christians be getting tattoos? Tell me, how old were you when you got your first tattoo?
I don't have any.
Yeah, I don't have any either.
I don't think I've even worn temporary tattoos.
I did.
You did?
I grew up in a time where it was really starting to take off, in high school in the mid to late 90s or early to mid 90s. And so it wasn't quite as crazy as it is now where everyone and their mother has a tattoo.
Literally their mother.
Yeah. For any reason whatsoever. It's like, oh, what is that? Oh, it's the Hidden Valley Ranch symbol. It means a lot to me to have. That's my favorite ranch. And so anytime I look at my tattoo, it reminds me how herby and delicious it is.
There has been an explosion of tattoos from all kinds of Americans, hasn't there, over the past 20 years? Yeah.
Yeah. And so, and also within the believing community. And that's what we're talking about today. Should we be getting those as believers? And I think it's kind of a miracle that I don't have any, because I did grow up in a time and in a culture where they were getting that up, mainly for gangs at the time. There was a lot of, you'd get your zip code or your city or your area code, not zip code, area code.
Yeah, I grew up in a time, I'm Gen Z, Gen X, Gen Z. You're Gen X as
right
well, but very at the end of it. So, like, for us, it was like kind of more hidden, like a drunken thing you did in college or, or later on. So, and it was hidden, because with jobs and stuff back then, you couldn't have tattoos. They had to be completely hidden. So I remember in college, one of our roommates showed us her tattoo and she was really ashamed of it. And we're like, well, what is it? She's like, it's really dumb. And it was a giant tattoo over her right cheek, her butt cheek.
Oh my gosh.
Of the Ralph Lauren horse.
Oh my. The Ralph Lauren horse?
Yeah, and it was purple. And that's when tattoos.
It was purple?
Yeah, it was purple and it was turning green already. Because remember, back in the day, tattoos would change into that ugly green color. Now they stay the actual color that they originally were. Yeah,
that is so.
It was so bad. We're like, what were you thinking?
Ralph Lauren.
And she was like, well, I was a preppy in high school. We're like, yeah, but preppies don't get tattoos.
Yeah, it's like, when people who are Jewish and they get the Star of David, because I want to express how Jewish I am. Well, yeah, if you were, you wouldn't be getting tattoos because that's very taboo within Judaism.
Right.
In fact, let's look at that verse here real quick. What it says here.
The thing.
Yeah, come on, guys.
He's doing the Bible.
In Judaism, tattoos are generally prohibited based on a verse in the Bible called Leviticus 19, verse 28, which states, "You shall not make gashes in your flesh for the dead, nor incise any marks on yourselves. I am the Lord." And this is interpreted by many Jewish scholars as a ban on tattooing, as it involves permanently marking the body. So the reasoning often ties to the belief that the body is a sacred creation of God, and altering it with tattoos could be seen as defacing divine work. So I know I've heard people say that, well, as a justification, your body is a temple, and don't temples have art in it?
Oh.
Well, see? I'm just putting art on my temple.
Hmm.
And I can see how maybe on that surface that might make sense. But if you think about it, that's not yours to be. That's already someone else's art. That's God's art that you're defacing.
Yeah, you're a vessel, and you're just using that for the time being. He owns your soul and all that. Well, the body too.
But as we said before, we are not here to shame or pass judgment on anybody.
No,
We're just
no.
having a conversation on this particular issue and try to offer more clarity on it.
Yeah, I mean, well, me personally, I would never get one because I can't commit to something like that.
I know.
I mean,
I've
I
thought
get so
about
sick
that.
of fashion, and I mean, I have my ears pierced, but I would never do more than just one hole because I think I'd get sick of it. I wouldn't like the way I'm so finicky.
I know.
About
Just
stuff like
imagine
that.
the things you liked as a teenager
Yeah,
at 18 and 19. Is that still stuff you like now?
yeah.
I'd probably have
If I did, this is my
Toad the Wet Sprocket tattoo on now.
I would predict if I did get a tattoo, say in college or in my 20s, probably would have already had it covered up by now. Like
Yeah.
I'm that type of person where I was like, oh no.
Well, who is it? Kat Von D. She had all these different tattoos. And I don't know, there was...
Oh, is that that girl that's like covered like with black? Like her
Well, that's what I was about to say.
Okay.
Yeah, that now she's covering them all up with just pure black, which I don't understand that. I mean, if you don't want tattoos, why not just have
Oh,
them
she
removed?
covered it with all black. Oh, okay. I thought that was her part of her tattooing was okay. So she's covering it with the
She's covering all her
Wow.
tattoos in all black.
wow.
So she's just, which I don't understand that, but that's what some people are doing, I guess. Which,
I don't know. I think maybe she's just really addicted because I hear it's so addictive. Once you
Really?
get one, you want to get another and another.
I know for a while I'd wanted to get one when I was younger, 18, 19, 20.
No, but the feeling of getting a tattoo,
Oh,
they
yeah.
get addicted to that.
I thought they
feeling.
hurt.
They do hurt, but there's something about it. I don't understand
it's
it because I
pain that's so good.
yeah, I don't get it. But yeah. But yeah, I think I mean, it depends on your community and your where you worship and stuff because I think it kind of said it what you just read to not be doing kind of the gashing or tattooing would fall
Well,
under that category.
Yeah, it all goes back to the issue for me. I feel it's a matter of, and I think this is what Jesus, Yeshua was talking about, which was trying to get people back to a committed, genuine, sincere desire to do what God says.
Mhm.
And I think we have to go back to God's call for us, which is to be holy.
Mhm.
And I'm talking about believers who proclaim that they are children of God.
Mhm.
This is not for people who are not trying to be, I'm not talking about people who are not interested in religion.
Yeah.
This is, I'm talking about we as believers, should we be doing this? And I think we have to think about the fact that God has called us to be holy.
Yeah.
And that means set apart,
Mhm.
not like the rest, not doing things the way the world does.
Yeah.
Not isolated, but set apart, meaning not going the way the world works. So,
Right.
I mean, just based on that,
Mhm.
it would mean that we wouldn't be getting tattoos because we are holy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know what you're saying. I totally agree with you. I just don't know how I would necessarily argue it because there's so many Christians and Jews that have tattoos. Like, look
Right.
at Pete Hetzek. I mean,
Right.
he's just covered with
Right, and that-
crucifixes and stuff.
And in Judaism and Christianity, you see a lot of people who have tattoos.
Yeah.
And not passing judgment,
Well,
not trying to shame anyone, but we do need to talk about this and discuss if that's something we should be doing.
well, Messianics are getting, they hop on board too because they get
Messianic Jews.
Messianic Jews. Yeah, because they're like, they're really proud of it, and I get it. And then they start putting the Hebrew lettering on their arms and stuff and legs, and because they want to show, or look at a scripture in Hebrew and have it on their person, which I guess I could understand, but I think it's a bit extreme, you know. I think that just opening up your Torah could be enough. Like it's like we said, like Judaism and Christianity, these are lifestyles. So
Right.
you know, it's a lifestyle to be religious. So I personally don't think that for me it doesn't fall under the lifestyle of being separate, like you said, because especially now that everyone's doing so many tattoos.
Yeah, because when God talks about you are holy because I am holy, I mean, you are different because I'm different. I'm not like the other gods that people claim to have. I am an actual real God, and this is the way I do things. And so
yeah,
you are going to be different like I am, is not just a thought, is not just a feeling, a conviction in your mind. It's something that you actually have to live and do.
yeah,
You know, these instructions that God has, these commandments that Yeshua wanted us to follow, are things that we actually have to do in our life, changes that we actually have to make in our life.
yeah,
And, you know, getting that tattoo is probably not the best thing to represent your faith and your walk if that's what you're into.
mm-hmm.
You know, we have to decide how we're going to live, the way the world does or the way God does. And I know that's easier said than done.
yeah.
You know, there's so many things here, especially in the United States, that we do that is not.
And I think you got to be careful in this day and age right now with the political climate. I mean, Jews already know, like in some places you cannot advertise your
Right.
faith. You just can't. And you
Right.
definitely would have to cover up your tattoos if, you know,
Right.
you're going. I mean, that's just part of survival. I don't know if that's necessarily true here in the United States, but obviously other places you go in the world, you can't be that naive going to the Middle East or parts of Africa, having crucifixes on your body. Hello, you get your head cut off,
Right.
you know, and that's a very serious thing. And that's something to consider if you're a world traveler.
Right.
You know, I mean, I hate
Or
to
even
be
just-
a Debbie Downer, but you know, it's like, that's the reality we live in right now.
And forget world traveling, even if you're just here in the States,
Yeah.
you know, if you're around the wrong people, if they see your tattoo of a Star of David or whatever, or
Yeah.
crucifix, that's enough to trigger some people here in the States.
Yeah, because it is a form of freedom of expression, you know,
Mhm.
and people just get so, you know, and I'm not saying hide who you are, but I'm just stating reality that we live in. That's the reality we live in.
Yeah, it could have serious safety implications as well.
I mean, because for me personally, I do not wear my Star of David out in public for that reason right now.
Mhm.
And it was a warning a few years ago when the war started
Yeah.
from rabbis all over the world warning Jews, you know, don't be doing that
Mhm.
because you just, you know, and then you look at what happened in London, that guy that was wearing a Star of David in public and they arrested him because they said you're antagonist. And I think that is completely wrong to do
Mhm.
that to someone, but it just proves my point that we
Yeah.
live in a time where people are just crazy triggered. So,
Mhm.
and that's just a piece of jewelry. Imagine having, you know, a Star of David or a crucifix on your arm
Right.
or on your wrist, or, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know, because that's permanent. You can't tuck that away, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's really true. I mean, it takes, you got to really think about these things because it has serious implications for your physical safety, but also, you know, if we are doing things that the Bible is outside of what the Bible prescribes,
Yeah.
you're also messing with your soul.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, you're messing with your soul, you're messing with your spirituality, your connection with God. And we have to be careful walking the walk that we're not walking too far over with the way the world does things, because then we're too far away. And that's exactly what Jesus and Yeshua was trying to do for his people, which is to bring them back. Over time, all these little lies, all these little things move you further and further and further away from the truth, from the Father. And before you know it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, in Judaism, I can't speak for Christianity, but in Judaism, there's already things that Jews have to do, especially if you're male, to your body to show commitment to the Lord, like wearing a beard, and tzitzit and kippah and wearing those
God
things. Like those are already physical things, and circumcision, obviously, on there.
Yeah, God has prescribed things that you can do to your body, and that you should do to your body to show that you are committed. Right.
And I guess my point is there's if you're walking in faith, there's already enough you're doing to show commitment. So if you're getting a tattoo because you want to show your commitment to the Lord, I just don't see how that fits. I think it's just something that you think looks cool.
Right.
And and it does. I'm sure it does look cool. But you know what? I don't know if that's like you said.
It's like the verse that says, when I was a child, I did things that were for children, but now it's time to mature and time to grow up.
Right.
We don't want our spiritual growth to be stunted.
Right.
Every year we should be growing. Our lives should be looking different every year because we're growing in our faith.
Yeah.
We don't want it to be stagnant.
Yeah. So if you want to do something nice, drawing on your body, there's plenty of different clothing. Get those sleeves.
Yeah. So, just something to think about. We are called to be holy, to be set apart. That means different things for different people. We're all on a different walk at different rates, different. So, think about that, pray on that, because we don't want to end up too far away from the Father.
Yeah.
Because this last week's Torah portion was about Noah.
Oh, yeah.
And before you know it, the flood came, and the unrighteous got swept away.
Right. Well, it's the same thing with the rapture. Many people think that the good people get swept away. No, they stay put. It's the bad that get ripped off the earth and taken somewhere else. It's the good people that get to stay and look at each other and go, "Oh, okay, it's just a few of us," but And maybe one of those people will have a polo tattoo. God will have mercy.
Oh, wow. That's funny. Imagine a Massimo tattoo. What were the other brands from the 90s that aren't Stussy? I'm sure there's some Stussy tattoos out there. God. Let us know if you have any tattoos that you regret, or are you planning on getting a tattoo? Has this made you think twice about us? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And
thanks for listening.